Hail, my brothers and sisters. It has been a while. I've missed you all. I look a wee bit different than I did last time you saw, but it may be bit of a part of my message today, which I do have a short one for you all. And that message being said, there has been a lot of wild stuff going on in the entire world right now. There have been revolutions that are toppling governments, cultural invasions from much of the Middle East into first world countries like really much of Europe, America, and even places like Japan, which historically have never ever had anything like that happen, to my knowledge anyway. At least nothing that they haven't fought. And that being said, there are also real real genocides that are going on with my Christian brothers and sisters in places like Nigeria and Sudan. And I understand that the world is always ripe with strife and conflict and much other things of the like. And in the army here recently, Pete Hegseth had mentioned that we do not have an army full of Norse pagans, in which I can say that that is correct. We do not have an army full of Norse pagans, but what I can say is that we do have a good portion of Norse pagans in the army. And I mean, why do you think that is? It's fighting is something that we live for. It is something that we love. It is truly a holy action. It is a call to God. It is a call to Odin to take up arms. In many of our beliefs, it is holy to take up weapons, to take up your fist, to train your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit, to go out and fight for the people that you love, for your home. And I bring this up because oftentimes there is a lot of conflict between Norse pagans, my heathen brothers and sisters, and Christians, for things that had happened in the past, like 1,000 years ago. Who gives a fuck? Now is the time for people to stand together of all times, of all times. We live in a world we do not have to stand up. Excuse me, we do not have to sit down and take the sodomization of our cultures across the world, whether you are in the UK, whether you're in Scotland. I guess, Jesus, Scotland is part of the UK. Whether you're in America, especially places like New York right now, it is awful. Um, in Japan, they're all seeing these extreme bouts of immigration, and really, eh, I cannot call it immigration. It is colonization from these peoples of the Middle East. And I'm not saying that everyone from the Middle East is, a rapist pig that beats women and stuff like that. But the ones that are coming over, a lot of them are. And really, I mean, there are plenty of people in the Middle East that are fantastic people, I'm sure, as there are fantastic people from all across the world. Um, but there, there is an obvious problem with, the common denominator between a lot of these folk that are coming around and invading, really invading these other lands. And you might hear the term the religion of peace thrown around a lot. I think this refers to how in Islam means to submit, and I could be wrong. Somebody fact check me for that. Um, but that is not the case. You see all these things happening across the world where young people are great, where grown men are killed, where women are beaten and also raped, and there are honor killings and things like that. That it is insane. Um, I don't want to sit around and not say anything about this when this is truly, truly an evil, awful thing that is happening to our world, and so many people feel as though that we are not allowed to say anything. And the reason for that is because it is a manufactured response by our governments across the world, and really white liberal women. Not to put the blame on a specific demographic, but yeah, that is the case. White liberal women. I've never been so call me racist against my own people, but holy fucking shit, white liberal women have destroyed the Western world, and if we are picking up what shambles we have in order to unite. I think I remember like a month or two ago there were millions of people that stood together in the UK against this brutal nonsense that is happening in their country. And I hope that we can see more people banding together, and really that is what my message is, for my Christian brothers and sisters that watch this, and my heathen brothers and sisters that watch this, and and everyone else in between and outside, as I like to say. I want us to stand together. In history, our cultures have been very interwoven with one another for hundreds of years, if not thousands. You go back to Bronze Age Europe, and the peoples of Scandinavia, the northern lands, are very well at home at mainland Europe. And, we've seen so many interactions between mainland and the islands, and not all of them were good, right? There was Lindisfarne, there were Harold Bluetooth, or Harold Blåtand, where he converted much of Greenland to Christianity, and a lot of people are still sour about that. In I have my gripes about things, but that stuff happened 1,000 years ago. Of course, I wish there were more heathens in the world. Um, good heathens. I'm not talking about like the fucking monsters that come from the religion of peace, you know. And it's not to say that there aren't monsters in every culture, but when you have a religion of peace that follows a fucking pedo warlord who married Aisha at 6 years old and was gentlemanly enough to wait until she was 9 years old before he started to rape her. Now that is fucking ridiculous and evil. A lot of people are not going to respect that. And when you are following a pedo warlord, what are the things that you are going to do? You're probably going to be a pedo, and you're probably going to want to be a warlord. And it's one of the two biggest things that you see when these people go around and they're invading these countries. They're literally putting up fucking colonies. Nobody talks. Everyone wants to talk about how white people are colonists. And in the past, I mean, which race has not been colonist at some time? It is simply what humans do. But right now, I mean, we live in an established world, you know, and the there's if you want to colonize a place, that is an extreme conflict, and that's exactly what we see, you know. Um, it cannot. Earlier, I mentioned that I cannot call it immigration because immigration is there's implied assimilation, at least in my head. That's what I feel like there should be or is in the definition baked into it. You cannot just go to a country and not know anything about the country and just try to make it your own country, like the places where you came from. And people talk about the oppression that comes with Sharia law, and then they try to escape it, and then they literally go to other countries that don't have Sharia law and try to implant it there. That's insane, is it not? Um, I've been wanting to make a video about Zoran Mamdani, and how I really believe that he's a practicer of taqiyya, and it is advancing the conquest of Islam, or conquest by Islam of the Western world, as New York is really the pinnacle in a lot of facets of the Western world, in its business, its trade, its cultural significance, especially after 9/11. To have that in there is wild. And you know, I think people are very quick to forget the terrible things that have happened, and I don't know. I don't think it's turning the cheek in this case. I think it's seriously turning a blind eye and choosing to believe something that they know is dishonest. Because there's no way that you can have a clear mind, a stable mind, a healthy mind, and think these things that this is okay. But really, I guess maybe that's the problem, is that these people, a lot of them are not well. You cannot be of the right mind and think these things, that it's okay to let your country be invaded by whatever, by whoever. It doesn't care who it is. Um, even if the occupying force is peaceful, none of the natives will like it. You know. And what do you think the people of UK think about the extreme rise in the Muslim population of the UK, as well as, I mean, for the love of all the gods, the UK has traditionally been a Christian country for its entire existence. Or, you know what I mean, Britain. Um, and now you can't even say Christian prayers outside of church without some stupid fucking Karen police officer telling you that you cannot do that. Isn't that insane? What the fuck? Like, freedom of speech, I understand, is I guess an American thing. And it wasn't for a while, like during COVID. If you tried to talk bad about anything dealing with COVID, then you got banned from whatever social media you said that on, which was insane. That's not freedom of speech, and we all know it wasn't. That was just straight up an annihilation of what we hold sacred here in this country, and what many, many others across the world also wish to have, to be able to freely speak without fear of retribution for simply speaking their mind. It is something that humans do, is to just speak. We're social creatures. We exchange ideas, we exchange feelings, we exchange everything. And when we are not allowed to do that, and we get jailed or really killed for it in some instances, you're stripping away one of the most important parts of what it means to be human, to exchange. Is at its most basic principle, it is to exchange. And I don't know, I just want us to unite under this one common thing, that we want peace, that we do not want strife. We want a cohesive, united culture of Western morals, principles, and good faith, people being kind to one another. And I guess there are also plenty of Eastern principles that fall under these lines as well. I'm not trying to exclude my friends, my brothers and sisters in Japan or any of the other Eastern countries, mostly Japan, as I know that they are of the Eastern countries closest to Western ideas. And I can really appreciate that. I want to go there and to study for grad school one day, and hopefully they'll take me. It's been a while, but the biggest thing I want to say here is originally I came to say that I want my heathens, my fellow heathen brothers and sisters and my Christian brothers and sisters to just unite, put the differences away. Because they're really, what are the differences? Both of us, I mean, there are some. Realistically, of course, there are some. But we both hail from warrior faiths. Warrior faiths. And like I mentioned earlier, the actual genocides happening in Nigeria and Sudan by Muslim people that want to conquer the world and to kill everyone that is not a Muslim and that's not convert because they're infidels. We need to stand together. I'm not saying that we are weak alone, but together we are so much stronger. A lot of times in my head, I come from Christian background, and now for years, I've been a heathen. For a while, I guess you could say I was still in the broom closet, um, because I feared the retribution as well. Um, but I want to put that aside. I don't hate Christianity. I don't hate Christians. I love it. It is a beautiful, beautiful faith. And I really think that both of us could learn a lot from each other once again, as we have done in the past for hundreds of years. Please, I want us to unite. It's all I want, to fight off these vile enemies that are literally killing us and trying to take over the world. We cannot let this happen. We absolutely cannot. So that's what I wanted to say for my message today, is that we need to stand together. I love all of you so dearly. And as always, my friends, my brothers and my sisters, in the name of the All-Father, find a way or make one. One last thing before I go. If you made it here, all the way here to the end of this message, thank you. That really means something great to me, and I cannot appreciate you enough for that. If you like this message, leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe for more stuff like this, and I will get to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts. I hope they are reflective of more people in the world and not just myself. But again, thank you all. I appreciate you. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Ramon Verbeard, signing out.